The 20th day of December. Finika's lingering scent in the burrows had led Spike and Archibald to the royal palace. "This must be where the prince lives," Archibald said, admiring the palace. Spike continued sniffing the ground, and Archibald followed him around the side of the palace to an open window. Archibald lifted Spike through the window and climbed in after him. They were in the royal palace. "Smell all those cakes and candies, Spike," Archibald said as he inhaled the fresh aroma of ginger cakes and taffy. The tables were filled with Christmas baking. "Where does the trail go from here, Spike?" Archibald asked. Spike sniffed the air and headed for the hallway. Archibald followed him up the stairs. They came to the prince's bedroom, and Spike found Chloe asleep in the prince's bed. He started to lick the wizard's face. After 3 days, the powder of Finika's sleeping powder had worn off, and Chloe slowly opened his eyes. "What's this? Where did this dog come from?" "Oh no," Archibald whispered. "It's a human. I better hide." While Chloe was occupied with Spike, Archibald slid under the prince's bed. "Down, doggy, down," Chloe commanded. Spike stopped licking Chloe's face and lay at his feet. Chloe slowly rose off the bed. His joints were still stiff from sleeping for so many days. "Where am I?" he wondered. "Yes, now I remember. The troll was here, and he sprinkled us with sleeping powder. But where are the prince and Miranda?" As Chloe searched the room, he spied Archibald's tail sticking out from underneath the bed. He crept up to the bed and grabbed a hold of it. "Aha!" he shouted. "I've got you!" He pulled Archibald out from under the bed. "Where are my niece and prince?" he shouted. Archibald began to tremble with fright. "Please don't shout at me," he begged. "I'm your friend." Chloe looked at the troll in surprise. "Friend? What do you mean? First you sprayed me with sleeping powder, and now you say you're my friend? And look at you, your pockets. You've been stealing Christmas candy from the royal kitchen." Archibald looked at his shirt. A candy cane had stuck out while he was admiring Christmas cakes and candies. "I'm not who you think I am," Archibald cried. "I'm not Finika. I'm Archibald." Chloe took a closer look and began to laugh. "Indeed you are," he said. Then he turned to Spike. "And this is your friend Spike." He scratched Spike on the belly. "You've been very helpful to the Nice family." "Yes, it's true," Archibald answered. "We've been very helpful. But my sister Finika has been here, and she's not so nice. She knocked you out with her sleeping powder, but I don't understand why she came here." "Finika hoped the prince and my niece Miranda would lead her to the Nice palace, and to the Nices," Chloe explained. "Finika is at the Nice palace," Archibald said. "Well, almost." He told Chloe about how he had put Finika under the spell of her own sleeping powder, and that she was fast asleep under the trapdoor of the Nice palace. "I'm on my way to warn the Nices before Finika wakes up." "The Nice family is safe for the moment, but I don't understand what happened to the prince and my niece," Chloe said. "What should we do?" Archibald asked. "We'll start by having breakfast. I'm sure you're hungry after your long journey, and I haven't eaten for 3 days," Chloe said. "After we've eaten, we'll find Miranda and the prince." Beneath the trapdoor of the Nice palace, Finika began to stir. Archibald had not sprinkled enough of the sleeping powder into the vat of boiling milk to keep her asleep for very long. She wiped the sleep from the corners of her eyes. "I must have been more tired than I thought. Now, what was I doing before I fell asleep?" She saw the trapdoor above her head and reached up slowly and opened it. At that moment, the nieces were gathered around Balto. He had made the decision to go to the royal palace. He would ask the wizard to help them reverse the curse of the magic compass and turn Pendulum's statue back into a real niece. "Be careful," Tandra said, wrapping a scarf around Balto's neck. "Finika could be anywhere, and it's still storming out." Yes, Finika could be anywhere," a raspy voice cried out. The nieces turned to see Finika standing in the middle of the living room. "Papa, it's Finika," Clipper shouted. "How did she get here?" Tandra asked. "The Nice palace is invisible to trolls." Finika began to laugh. "Yes, but the footprints of Pendulum are not invisible. I used my magic foot powder to follow his footprints, and they led me right to the trapdoor below the Nice palace." "What should we do?" Clipper whispered. "I have big troll ears," Finika said. "I can hear everything you whisper. Now stay where you are, or I'll spray you with my sleeping powder." Finika pointed her canister of sleeping powder at the nieces. Tandra, Balto, and Clipper backed away from the table and stood huddled by the wall. "What do we have here?" Finika asked, spying the stone statue of Pendulum. "It's a Christmas gift," Tandra said, and the other nieces looked at her in surprise. "A Christmas gift?" Finika's spy said suspiciously. "Yes," Tandra said. "Balto was very good with stone. He made a statue of Pendulum. We're going to give it to him for Christmas." "And where's Pendulum now?" Finika asked, raising her eyebrow. He's collecting holly berries," Clipper said. "Yes, he's collecting holly berries, and we'd better cover the statue before he gets back, or it won't be a surprise," Balto said. "Christmas gift. Pfft, What a silly idea, Finika said, looking around impatiently. Where's the niece handbook? The nieces said nothing. If you don't tell me where the niece handbook is, I'll sprinkle you all with enough sleeping powder to keep you dreaming for 100 years. All right, Balto said, going to the cupboard. Balto, you can't give her the troll the niece handbook, Tanger cried, hurrying after him. We have no choice, he sighed. With a wink, he removed the niece handbook from the cupboard and placed it on the table. Finally, the niece handbook with all its secrets, Finika shouted, rushing towards the table. And I suppose you want the magic compass too? Yes, give me the magic compass. It's over here in the statue's hands, Balto said, pointing to Pendulum. Finika threw back her head and began to laugh. You silly nieces. Now that I have the niece handbook, I'll use the magic compass to make the niece palace disappear and you with it. You'll never have to worry about nieces again. She reached out to grab the magic compass from Pendulum's hand, but as her furry little paw made contact with the compass, the spell had turned Pendulum into stone, turned Finika in another puff of smoke into stone as well. The nieces began to jump and shout. We did it, Balto shouted. We tricked Finika. They did it, Archibald shouted. They tricked Finika. After breakfast, Chloe had taken Archibald and Spike to his laboratory. They had watched the adventures of the nieces and Finika in the fireplace. That was close, Chloe said, wiping his brow. But what do we do now? Archibald said. First, I must find the prince and Miranda, and then we'll all go to the niece palace. The prince will reverse the magic of the compass, Pendulum will turn back into a niece, and the palaces will stop vanishing. And not a day too soon. There are only 3 palaces and 1 castle left in the kingdom. What about Finika? Archibald asked. We'll decide what to do with her later. But as he approached the Book of Charms, Chloe wondered where the prince and Miranda were. Then he read the note that Miranda placed on top of the book. Oh, no, Chloe said. The prince and Miranda have been tampering with my Book of Charms. They recited a powerful spell that took them to the Niece Palace, but they chose the wrong spell. Do you mean they didn't reach the Niece Palace? Archibald said. Yes and no. The spell they chose sent them back in time. Back in time? Is that bad? No, not really. They just had to repeat the spell, and they'll return to the present. But Chloe was worried the prince would not remember the spell. I hope they come back soon, Archibald said. It'll soon be Christmas, and we have to stop the magic compass. That's right, Archibald. I'll have to find out where in time the spell took them. When I do, I'll go there and bring them back. In the meantime, why don't you take Spike to the royal kitchen? You can go have a glass of milk and some Christmas cookies. That sounded like a very good idea to Archibald and Spike. Miranda and the prince were sitting in the stables of the Niece Palace. The prince could not remember the spell that had brought them back to the present. Try harder, Miranda said. I'm too tired, the prince answered. I'll try tomorrow. It's bound to come back to me sooner or later. It's better to be sooner. Tomorrow is the 21st day of December. It's almost Christmas. Yes, it's almost Christmas. Until tomorrow. Good night.